Hare Krishna. Mama Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmelitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. After a gap of 2 days delay, starting maybe 10 days. So we'll continue our discussion. This Srimad Bhagavatam is a solutions for all problems. It's very important for us to understand how we need to take shelter of Bhagavatam in all the situations of life. So this chapter and next chapter going to make us understand in all situations. Somebody may say, okay, in practical life, how is it possible? But we'll see that's what this chapter will tell us. Practical scenarios also, how Bhagavatam helps and how we should learn to take shelter of Bhagavatam. And that is what is actually the solutions for all problems in this world. Like when Prabhupada met Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he was telling, Arey, our country is dependent. Britishers are ruling now. We need to first get ourselves free, then we will think of Bhagavatam. Bhaktisiddhanta said, no way. Bhagavatam is the only solutions. Now, at the time Britishers ruling, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said, forget about it, just preach Bhagavatam. Now, at least we can see now presently, at least some good people are ruling. Not everyone, but some good people are there. So why we should take it so concerned about all these external or political situations? We just have to focus on Bhagavatam. So people wake up in the morning and read news. But instead of that, we should sit in front of Bhagavatam and read Bhagavatam, because that will solve the problems for our personal life and even for the society also. So if you want to help yourself, ourselves, our family members, we just have to read Bhagavatam. If you want to help society, read Bhagavatam. Somebody is reading Bhagavatam, that's why society is peaceful. This is the reality. So now we'll see some of the very important discussions. This chapter is very important in the sense because this chapter has seed verses of Bhagavatam. Also, one important understanding of how what Madhvacharya says is Bhagavatam, the essence of Mahabharata is Bhagavatam. So this chapter actually proves in one way. So how the essence of Mahabharata is Bhagavatam. In essence, in the sense, some of these chapters will make us understand what exactly Bhagavatam wants us to, what Mahabharata, why it is compiled and what is to be learned. So I will just, because we are in this chapter, before we, I have discussed it, but as a revision. So I will try to share a very important understanding of the determination stubbornness which we discussed, but again I'll just revise so that we'll understand, because we are going to discuss about Ashwatthama, Duryodhana, Arjuna, Draupadi, Bhima, Yudhishthir. So many personalities are there in this chapter. Of course, Krishna is the main person, but this is something very important for us to understand. This is this important lessons. So now Ashwatthama, he is a partial incarnation of Lord Shiva, Yama, and also Kamadev. So he has 4 things in it: lust, anger, there is God of death, and Lord Shiva. Now 4 destructive forces are converged in his heart. This is very important. And now he has passion to kill and take. So he has passion, and this is Rudra. This possession is there. So Madhvacharya explains that there are 3 meanings in every pastime of Mahabharata. The 3 schemes of meanings. First is historical, second is allegorical, and third is metaphysical. Now, historical means a general understanding of the story that we are all hearing. That is the storyline. But second is the allegorical. Allegorical is very important, and next is also very important, our metaphysical. Allegorical means the battle between Pandavas and Kauravas. Allegorical, it means this is an eternal conflict between the forces of good and evil, and faith in God and godly tendencies in our heart. So there is this is the second one, and the third one is how Mahabharata, it explains about spiritual thing. How from the point this is describes the nature of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and to prove and show that the superiority of Krishna, the director of universal dharma. So like that. Now, the allegorical meaning is very important. We'll understand, we'll try to, Bhagavatam gives the spiritual point, but allegorical is also very important. Bhagavatam gives some understanding. Like we have to understand the characters do not just symbolizes some cosmic forces. They also symbolizes forces in they're actually the personification of forces. It's not just some impersonal force is there, but a force of a person is also there. So that force persons, they came on the battlefield for fighting, like Yama and Shiva, this personification, that forces, they have come to fight on the battlefield. Now what is important is that same battle continues every day in our heart. This is the most important understanding. And Krishna, the brilliant director, he actually directs this drama in order to show by example of its character that what would happen if we let Duryodhana or Ashwatthama take possessions in our heart, or if we understand who Duryodhana is, Ashwatthama or Bhima, Arjuna. So we have to recognize these voices in our heart. This is actually what is Madhvacharya is trying to explain by allegorical understanding. He says Duryodhana is a personification of age of Kali. Age of Kali means there is enmity, there is trouble or strife, we can say, or there is conspiracy, there is hypocrisy. And what Duryodhana did, Duryodhana is actually is the foreshadowing of age of Kali with its endless wars. Now, if you see every news, there are wars somewhere or other happening within the society, within the community, nation, within the nation, between the nations, everywhere there is wars. Jealous and ambitious Duryodhana, he actually he sowed the seeds of enmity in his relatives, and he caused a big fratricidal war, we can say. And he is proud of himself, and he constantly conspired and he slandered and boasted. This is what is age of Kali, and it's very difficult for us to live in an atmosphere of age of Kali, which is riddled with pride and hypocrisy. And because we are with that association around, to protect ourselves is actually not very easy. So that's why Mahabharata, it warns and it gives this example. Now Ashwatthama, personification of death, lust, wrath, and he served whom? He served faithfully Duryodhana. And who is that? Kali. So people with these qualities, they are serving Kali. And Ashwatthama means, Ashwa means horse, Thama means stubbornness. So this fellow, he fights with the stubbornness of a horse. So stubbornness and determination, there is difference. That's what we wanted to discuss this one, just because Ashwatthama is there. And actually this is the this is the shloka where we hear about Ashwatthama, what he did. So when the respective warriors of both camps, namely Kauravas and Pandavas, are killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and dead warriors obtained their deserved destination. And when the son of Dhritarashtra fell down lamenting, his spine broken, being beaten by the club of Bhimasena, the son of Dronacharya, Ashwatthama, beheaded the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi and delivered the heads as a prize to his master. Foolishly thinking that he would be pleased, Duryodhana, however, disapproved of the heinous act, and he was not pleased in the least. So, because just within one shloka, few chapters of Mahabharata is described just in one shloka. It will. This is actually so many pages are there in Mahabharata, but in just one shloka, it is just summarized because it wanted to give some important lesson. So this Ashwatthama, he is having stubbornness, but if determination is actually a better application. So he because in stubbornness, a person cannot admit defeat. That is the main problem. And and what happens is he continues to fight stupidly and sneakingly out of his last strength. So because when the war is over, still Ashwatthama tried to do some harm to the till the end, and we'll see. And for the next chapter also about Ashwatthama, something comes. And even Duryodhana also did not like it. He also felt this fellow is useless. So this is he was also disgusted. Even person like Duryodhana got disgusted with Ashwatthama. Can you imagine? So how much heinous activity Ashwatthama did? This is actually the result of stubbornness. So now, because Ashwatthama is ready to serve Kali's cause to his last breath, now we may have question that everybody is acting according to their nature. Duryodhana is acting according to nature. Ashwatthama is acting according to his nature, and Arjuna, Bhima, Bhishma, everybody acting according to their nature. And uh, now Krishna has a purpose, because Krishna's appearance is Vinashaya Chadrushkitam, so to destroy all the evil forces. And now Ashwatthama served that purpose. He destroyed all the evil forces. Duryodhana served that purpose. But we'll see that Krishna curses Ashwatthama. He never cursed anyone. He cursed Ashwatthama. We'll see why. So we'll see what is the curse and why Krishna. So even Krishna, Duryodhana got disgusted, Krishna got disgusted with Ashwatthama. So, but because he's serving the cause, and what is wrong with Ashwatthama also we'll see. And this is actually, he's serving Kali's cause to his last breath. And this is actually, Ashwatthama lives in heart of all people. Sometimes this is heard by people, like people in the age of Kali. That's why there is so much quarrel in this age. Otherwise, there is previous ages is not so quarrelsome. Kali Yuga, for small things, neighbors fight, and on the road you can see fight. So and people are ready to engage in them in the fights and all. For there will be cause, and without cause also people fight. That means this is to vent out righteousness with our mouth full of fire. So now uh, uh, now we are actually fighting with Krishna. So this is another important understanding we should have. So actually now people, the Pandavas are fighting for Krishna, and Kauravas are fighting against Krishna. And but Ashwatthama is resentful, foolish, and stubborn, and he is actually uh, he is not ready to change. That is another problem. And he always feels he is right, and he always justifies it. And even now also Ashwatthama is living. And what happened is, one Brahmana, he prayed to Krishna that I wanted to write Mahabharata, but I want to have an eyewitness who exactly saw it. So Ashwatthama came and dictated, but still he feels that he's still right. That is a so now what happens is, if this Ashwatthama is anywhere hard, why? Because this, we always feel we are right. That is Ashwatthama mentality. How we know? We all know, actually. We all know we are right. That is 100% true. I always, everybody has this understanding that they are right. And now, now in our battle for truth, people are driven by pride, resentfulness, also jealous to Vaishnavas. This is a very important thing. Now, because Duryodhana fighting on the side means you are defending his wrong cause. So Duryodhana was doing for wrong cause, and we are supporting him. So this is actually the greatest danger. And if you stop listening the advice of elders and are absolutely sure that we are right, it means we became servants of Kali. I'll repeat. If you stop listening to Shastras and our Vaishnavas, elders, and we are absolutely sure that I am right, then we are happily serving the cause of Kali, even though we may have Tilak and Kantimal also. So we can be Kali Chela. That's what Bhakti Nata. Sara gaye makane Tilak gaura milega. Now, it is very easy to mistake obstinacy or stubbornness with determination. What is the mistake is there is blindness in stubbornness, whereas in determination there is knowledge, because Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana. So he says those who are determined and purposeful, they have one goal. So that is the main difference. They have a knowledge, they are not blind. In determination, there is knowledge, whereas in stubbornness, it is blind. This is I am right. No matter whatever, I am only right. So this is the main difference, and it will cause spiritual ruination because it goes to false goals. And what happens is pride, anger, and lust. These are the cause of that stubbornness. And his aim is to destroy devotees. So when we have fight with devotees, if we are having any problem, that means with the devotees we are having, that is what is the cause? It is because of pride, anger, and lust, which came because of stubbornness. No, we have to accept it. We should never play a blame game. We should never we should not go for we should not what do you call a victim card. We should not play victim card. No, this is all ignorance only. This is not true. Nobody is cause of our suffering. That is 100% true. Any situation we are, it's either arrangement by Krishna if we are devotees, or our karma if we are not devotees. That's all. If Krishna arranged for me for this situation, why should I blame some devotees? This is all Ashwatthama mentality. This is all born not of reason, but out of pride, anger, and lust. It is no reason behind it. This is, if we are blaming, means it is out of pride, anger, and lust. So now he want to destroy devotees, to destroy, to humiliate, to avenge. So we should not allow Ashwatthama to have upper hand in our hearts. We will meet the same end what Ashwatthama met. So now he actually pays back for his stubbornness. So he says that so when Draupadi, she comes in the morning to the tent, then she sees the beheaded sons of beheaded sons, and she becomes so sad, and she cries and she collapsed on the ground and began to roll on it. And Yudhishthir Maharaj, he could not stand. So Bhima was really so upset. And Arjuna promised that, okay, I'll get this fellow's head and bring to you. And then Arjuna goes and brings Ashwatthama. And Ashwatthama releases Brahmastra that we read. We will just read few and I'll come back. There are some important we read it, but I just wanted to revise because it was long gap for us. So then he says, Draupadi, the mother of 5 children of Pandavas, after hearing the massacre of her sons, began to cry in distress, with eyes full of tears. Trying to pacify her in her great loss, Arjuna spoke to her thus. O gentle lady, when I present you with the head of that Brahmana after beheading him, arrows from my Gandiva bow, I shall then wipe the tears from your eyes and pacify you. Then after burning your son's body, you can take your bath standing on his head. So this is Kshatriya's language. Brahmanas cannot speak like that. Kshatriyas can speak. Arjuna, who is guided by the infallible Lord as friend and driver, thus satisfied the dear lady by such statements. Then he dressed in armor and armed himself with famous furious weapons, and getting into his chariot, he set out to follow Ashwatthama, the son of his martial teacher. So from here we will try to read the purports because some. Now Ashwathama, the murderer of the princess, seeing from a great distance Arjuna coming at him with great speed, fled in his chariot, panic struck just to save his life as Brahma fled in fear from Shiva. According to this also actually we completed purport, so I'll skip. If you can also do some homework. If you have forgotten, please go through the purports again. When the son of the Brahmana Ashwatthama saw that his horses were tied, he considered that there was no alternative for protection outside of his using the ultimate weapon, the Brahmastra nuclear weapon. So now this nuclear weapon can only destroy the planet, but Brahmastra has such a heat, it can destroy the cosmic manifestation only. So there is a difference. It is not just nuclear weapon of the earth which our scientists make. This is a nuclear weapon which can destroy the cosmic because it has a tremendous power. It is much more subtler. In the ultimate issue only, when there is no alternative, the nuclear weapon called the Brahmastra is applied. The word Dvijatmaja is significant here because Ashwatthama, although the son of Dronacharya, was not exactly a qualified Brahmana. The most intelligent man is called a Brahmana, and it is not a hereditary title. Ashwatthama was also formally called a Brahma Bandhu, or the friend of a Brahmana. Being a friend of a Brahmana does not mean that one is Brahmana by qualification. A friend or son of a Brahmana, when fully qualified, can be called a Brahmana and not otherwise. Since Ashwatthama's decision is immature, he is purposely called here in the son of Brahmana. So it is sarcastically told, see what type of Brahmana he is. So now here Ashwatthama, he released this Brahmastra because he was having this secret weapon. So Drona told him, this weapon is capable of destroying whole earth. So you should be very careful. You should be responsible. So once in the Kurukshetra, Arjuna was aware of it. So Arjuna actually used Brahmastra to kill Karna. So because Krishna threatened Arjuna, if you don't use, I'll use my Sudarshan Chakra. So now Ashwatthama was envious of Arjuna. So that's why he begged his father to give this astra. And now if where there is lust and anger, there will be always envy. So Ashwatthama is personification of it. So now can we say we have envy? If somebody has lust and anger, they can say they have envy. So, and Dronacharya was aware of his son's unruly temper, but he could not resist because he was also attached to his son. So he gave this, but he warned, don't use it against mortals unless it is mortal danger. But using against ordinary people will ruin yourselves. So, but here Ashwatthama, but without any cause, because he did a mistake, Ashwatthama released. And it has a power of sun, Prabhupada says. So now, Arjuna, first time he neutralizes Brahmastra, he overtook him, and that's what happens. This is what we will see in the next few verses. But before that, Arjuna shows how he is a devotee. Thereupon, a glaring light spread in all directions, was so furious that Arjuna, thought his own life in danger, and so he began to address Lord Krishna. So here we can see the quality of Arjuna. This is a very important. Even in that situation also, Arjuna is very peacefully taking shelter of Krishna. This is what is Bhagavatam's way of understanding Mahabharata. Arjuna said, "Oh my Lord Sri Krishna, you are the almighty personality of God. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to install fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. Everyone in the flames of mental miseries can find the path of liberation in you only." So, Prabhupada is telling, Arjuna was aware of the transcendental qualities of Lord Sri Krishna as he has already experienced them during the Kurukshetra war, in which both of them were present. Therefore, Arjuna's version of Lord Krishna is authoritative. Krishna is almighty and especially the cause of fearlessness for the devotees. A devotee of Lord is always fearless because of the protection given by the Lord. Material existence is something like a blazing fire in the forest, which can be extinguished by the mercy of the Lord Sri Krishna. The spiritual master is a mercy representative of the Lord. Therefore, a person burns in the flames of material existence may receive the rains of mercy and of the Lord through the transparent media of self-realized spiritual master. The spiritual master, by his word, can penetrate into the hearts of the suffering person, inject knowledge transcendental, which alone can extinguish the fire of material existence. So such a nice point Prabhupada is telling. Only by spiritual master we can come out. There is no other way. He has to speak, we have to hear, try to understand. Why we are not able to get these instructions inside? Because we have screens of our desires. So the desires that block the instructions that are coming from our guru. Now what happens is, even whatever we like, that only that comes inside. And most of the time spiritual instructions are not so pleasing. That's why they don't penetrate inside the heart. Now how that instruction should penetrate, we have to purify the heart. How to purify? That's why we need sadhana. So when we start doing sadhana more and more nicely, our heart is getting purified. We'll be able to understand the instructions more and more clearly. The Guru is telling again and again. So here we are actually burning in this suffering, this ocean of material existence, such a blazing fire. So a person burning the flame of material existence may receive the rain of mercy of the Lord through the transparent media of self-realized spiritual master. We are getting through him, but the screens are very strong. That's why we are not able to get it. So one instruction of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, first meeting of Prabhupada, immediately changed. He took it for life and he changed the whole world. Only one time. Why it happened? Because there are no desires inside. It is pure. So we have to remove our screens. So this is that's why the sadhana is very important for us. And this is actually so pleasing. Spiritual master is helping us to come out. We should be so much attached to our spiritual master. That's why. You are the original personality of Godhead who who expanded yourself all over the creation and are transcendental to material energy. To cast away the effects of mental energy by dint of your spiritual potency. You are always situated in the eternal bliss and transcendental knowledge. So it's first, before asking the Lord what, first we have to glorify him. So that is etiquette. So we have one question. Is stubbornness there is ego, and in determination there is humility for carrying out the mission of Guru? Yes, yes. In there is determination, there is knowledge. Humility may not be there immediately, but there is knowledge that we want to do right thing. Slowly humility will come. But in stubbornness there is ego. That is true. So we want to carry out, to do service means we need to be humble. So if we want to do some service for Guru, humility is must. We do out of pride also, but okay. At least we have to do service to Guru. So we have read this purport, but we will do still revision because there was a long way. The Lord states in Bhagavad Gita that one who surrenders unto the lotus feet of Lord can get released from the clutches of nations. Krishna is just like the sun, and Maya or material existence is like darkness. Wherever there is light of the sun, darkness or ignorance at once vanishes. The best means to get out of the world of ignorance is suggested here. So what is the best means? The Lord is addressed herein as the original personality of Godhead. From him, all other personalities of Godhead expanded. The all-pervasive Lord Vishnu is Lord Krishna's plenary portion or expansion. The Lord expands in innumerable forms of Godhead and living beings along with his different energies. But Sri Krishna is the original primeval Lord from whom everything emanates. The all-pervasive feature of the Lord experienced within the manifested world is also a partial representative of the Lord. Representation of the Lord. Paramatma, therefore, is included within him. He is the absolute personality of God. He has nothing to do with the actions and reactions of material manifestation because he is far above the material creation. Darkness is perverse representation of the sun. Therefore, the existence of darkness depends on the existence of sun. But in the sun proper, there is no trace of darkness. As the sun is full of light only, similarly, the absolute personality of God beyond the material existence is full of bliss. Is like no sun can never see darkness because wherever sun turns, it becomes light. Similarly, there is no darkness in the Supreme Lord. So wherever Lord goes, it is all light. So sun can never see darkness. So in the Supreme Lord, or we have Supreme Lord in our heart, there is no darkness. And darkness is ignorance. That is the cause of our unhappiness. I'm unhappy means what? I'm unhappy means I lack knowledge. That's all. Why Shudras? Shudra means one who is unhappy. That means Kalo Shudra Sambhava means Kali Yuga everybody is unhappy. That's right. It is said Kalo Shudra Sambhava. It is not by birth. It is by lack of knowledge. If person lacks knowledge, he is called Shudra because he is unhappy. If you have knowledge, then you are always happy. Means at least you know what is true. Then there is no question of lamentation. Lamentation is ignorance. That's all. So when Arjuna was lamenting, Krishna was Kutastva Kashmaladam Vishmaya Samapastitam Anarya Dishtum. Anarya, hey, how are you? How can you are an Arya? You cannot lament. Asargam Akirtikaram Arjuna, like that. So here we need to have that knowledge. He is not only full of bliss, but also full of transcendental variegatedness. Transcendent is not at all static, but full of dynamic variegatedness. He is distinct from the material nature, which is complicated by the three modes of material nature. He is Param or the chief, therefore is absolute. He has multifold energies and therefore he deserves his diverse energies. He creates, manifests, maintains, and destroys the material world. In his own abode, however, everything is eternal, absolute. The world is not conducted by the energies of powerful agents by themselves, but by the potent, all powerful with all energies. Because we already read this purport, that's I'm reading a little fast. So we just revision, so that's why I'm going a little fast. And I will just try to cover something on some more points are there. Why Krishna, what curses Arjuna, Ashwatthama got and other things. We'll see. Maybe today we have only few minutes. If not, tomorrow we'll cover why Ashwatthama was cursed by Krishna. And yet, though you are beyond the preview of material energy, you executed the four principles of liberation characterized by religion and so forth for the ultimate good of the conditions. So dharma, artha, kama, moksha is for the. So Arjuna is able to so much meditate on Krishna at that point when he is in great danger. This is very important. Great dangers also. Okay, will meditate on them. Means his absorption is so much. His absorption on Krishna is so nice. In all situations, he is able to meditate and absorb himself in Krishna. So for us also, at the time of death, we should be able to absorb on Krishna like this. Oh Krishna, you are so nice, and we leave our body. The personality of God, Sri Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, descended to the manifested world without being influenced by the material modes of nature. He is eternally beyond the material manifestation. He descends out of his causeless mercy only to reclaim the fallen souls who are captivated by the illusory energy. They are attacked by the material energy and they want to enjoy her under false pretext. Although in essence the living entity is unable to enjoy, one is eternally the servitor of the Lord, and when he forgets this position, he thinks of enjoying the material world, but factually he is in illusion. The Lord descends to eradicate this false sense of enjoyment and thus reclaim conditioned souls back to Godhead. That is the all merciful nature of the Lord for the fallen souls. So now he asks, now he gives his request. Thus you descended as an incarnation to remove the burden of the world and to benefit your friends, especially those who are your exclusive devotees and are constantly wrapped in meditation of God. And so you have come. So here we see that Arjuna uses this word that you have come as an incarnation. So avatara. but Lord is avataric. So, but Arjuna was in ecstasy that so we should not consider Lord as avatar. He is actually avatar. From him only all incarnations. It appears that the the Lord is partial to his devotees. Everyone is related with the Lord. He is equal to everyone. Samoham sarvabhuteshu. And yet he is more inclined to his own men and devotees. Name dveshtasna ye bhajantu tumam bhaktya maite teshchaham. The Lord is everyone's father. No one can be his father, and yet no one can be his son. His devotees are his kinsmen, and his devotees are his relations. Thus, in his transcendental pastime, it has nothing to do with mundane ideas of relationship, relations, fatherhood, or anything like that. As mentioned above, the Lord is above the modes of matter nature, and thus there is nothing mundane about his kingsmen and relation and devotional service. So here, one important point is that law, whatever we think in this world, we try to project on the spiritual world also. Say now we say I'm suffering from separation from my loved ones. Now when we hear about gopis separation from Krishna, or Krishna is in Dwaraka and thinking about gopis, we try to superimpose our understanding of separation, our understanding of pain. Gopis are also separation like us. That's why they take the movies and songs and all. They write Radha Krishna serials or some songs of gopis separation from Krishna or something like that. They are trying to superimpose their understanding on what is Krishna and gopis and what Krishna and Dwaraka and all. But it is never like that. It is completely beyond. We cannot understand. It is Achintya and Achintya Swabhava and all these things. It is completely inconceivable, spiritual world. We are just trying to, some with mundane things, we cannot understand spirituality. It's not possible. So whatever understanding they have, like that's what Krishna Prabhupada is trying to tell here. This is transcendental pastime. It is nothing to do mundane ideas of relationship. This is not like anything like parents says, oh, my child is like Krishna. You know, he is also doing some pastimes like Krishna. Actually, they don't understand what is that. So that is a problem. He looks like Krishna, he does like Krishna, and when we hear, we feel a little odd. Right? How are you comparing with Krishna's pastime, your child's past? It is not pastime, it is time pass. So anyway, that is their feeling, and that is not actually correct. We are superimposing whatever I think. This is how it is. I think spiritual world is also like that. We can never understand. It's inconceivable, beyond. And now he's putting his problem. He said, "You protect your devotees. Now I am in problem. Oh Lord of Lord, how is this? How is that this dangerous effulgence is spreading all around? Where does it come from? I do not understand." So, Prabhupada rating, anything that is presented before the personality of Godhead should be done after due presentation of respectful prayers. People go to Lord, first offer prayers. They go to Balaji, Tirupati. They just go with the list. First you appreciate him. How beautiful he is looking, what dress he is wearing, what garlands he is wearing, what jewelry he is wearing, how are his kundal, how is his armlet, bracelets, how are his chokers, and how are his necklaces. First, we should glorify them and appreciate and say what all he is doing for us and how he's so special. And even when we go to altar and see the pagadi, how nicely the flowers are kept for Krishna and how he is nicely dressed. And we should feel, because like say when we go to when we are dressed very nicely and nice saris and nice suit and all, we go and some of your friends and relatives, they appreciate, oh, what a nice dress. Immediately we feel, and nobody notices, only you feel a little sad. I wore new dress, nobody knows also. So but somebody notices this and they appreciate it, so nice. And Krishna does every day, and you want us to notice and appreciate, and Krishna feels very nice. And then when he becomes very happy with your appreciation, then you can make some request. Yeah. So Prabhupada is telling we should be done due presentation respectful prayers. That is the standard procedure. And Sri Arjuna, although an intimate friend of Lord, is observing this method for general information. So even Arjuna is following certain examples. I am also not approaching Krishna directly. Hare Krishna, Hare yaar tu aisa kar lena mere liye. Arjuna is not telling like that. He is also offering prayers before his presentation. So we'll just take one purport and then we'll end for today. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Know for me that this is the act of son of Drona. He has thrown the hymns of nuclear energy, Brahmastra, and he does not know how to retreat the glare. He has helplessly done this, being afraid of imminent death." The Brahmastra is similar to that of the modern nuclear weapon manipulated by atomic energy. The atomic energy works wholly on the total uh, combustibility, and so the Brahmastra also acts. It creates an intolerable heat similar to atomic radiations, but the difference is that the atomic bomb is a gross type of nuclear weapon, whereas the Brahmastra is a subtle type of weapon produced by chanting of hymns. It is a different science, and in the days gone by, such science can was cultivated in the land of Bharatavarsha. The subtle science of chanting hymns is also material, but it has yet to be known by the modern material scientists. Subtle material science is not spiritual, but it has a direct relationship with the spiritual method, which is still subtler. A chanting of hymn known how to apply the weapon as well as how to retreat. The chanter of hymn. So that was perfect knowledge. But the son of Dronacharya, who made use of this subtle science, did not know how to retract. He applied it, being afraid of his imminent death, and thus the practice was not only improper but also irreligious. As a son of Brahmana, he should not have made so many mistakes, and for such gross negligence of duty, he was to be punished by Lord himself. So Lord is going to curse him because of this activity. Many mistakes he's doing. Now here, this is very important. Previously, the people were really practicing meditations. They had a great control on their mind. Even demons like Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, even Duryodhana, these people also, even Karna, even though they are demonic, they had this ability to control their mind. And because they are able to control their mind and chant the mantras, that's why they're able to do such superhuman acts. They also had, even Duryodhana had some celestial weapon or some sort of these powers and all. They, not that no, from morning to evening they are fighting only. How much they are able to control their hunger, thirst, and no, even bodily necessities. Everything is controlled. They have that yogic powers. They meditate. Not only just martial experts, they also had this subtler powers. That's why they are able to fight for long time and with so much power and all. So anyway, this is all not something spiritual. It's gross mundane propositionally, because spirituality is much more subtler. So thank you all very much. So we'll end here. We'll continue tomorrow. Hare Krishna.